So while browsing through our comment section last week, we saw this one pop up. Mm-hmm. And basically, the person is just asking for a little bit of our background, where we grew up, what our first country was that we visited,
where we've lived.
Yeah, where we've been living, how our work life is right now, and all that stuff. So we have covered this information to some degree through various videos and our blog. But we thought it'd be fun to do like a proper origin story. How do we get here in this position where we're literally like a month away or less than a month away from leaving to travel the world all over again?
Right. But to tell this story, we have to go way back to a simpler time.
To a time when the internet looked like this. Smartphones looked like this. This was the most popular video game. And this was called dancing. The year was 1979 when on the top floor of this building in the city of Tacoma, Washington, Noah Santana Camp was born.
Let's fast forward 3 years to 1982. Now by this time, not much had changed and pretty much everything looked the same. But this was the year that the film E.T. was released. Why is this relevant? Well, because in that same year, little Lynn was born. It's also relevant because, as it turns out, this film ended up accounting for approximately 70 to 80% of her emotional scarring to date. Now, the origins of exactly where she was born are somewhat mysterious, but according to her mom, it happened somewhere in this red vicinity between Tacoma and Seattle in a local birthing clinic.
So this puts us about here in our timeline. Now the next 18 years were pretty uneventful, and we both had a fairly normal childhood. I went off to Hawaii to spend a few years on my grandpa's ranch, and Noah spent a lot of his youth wrestling pythons on his grandparents' traveling reptile show. All-American kid stuff. It wasn't until the summer of 2001 when fate finally brought us together while we were both working at this guitar center in Tacoma. It was a love at first sight, and we've been inseparable ever since. After we were married, things continued on as normal as we both fell into our respective routines. I spent most of my time working as an office assistant here, and Noah spent most of his time earning a computer science degree here. Pretty much all of our immediate family lived within a 30-mile radius, so there was not much of a reason to venture far from home. However, in the summer of 2010, a series of events began to unfold that would alter the course of our lives forever.
So what happened?
A few things, actually. First and foremost, I had a growing displeasure for Washington State. Growing up for a couple of years in Hawaii, I lived 20 minutes away from Waipio Valley, and there I saw a different alternative. I realized that the sun motivates me, and I'm solar powered, and it gives me creative spirit, and I just thrive and grow. And here I was again, back in Washington State, but as an adult, choosing to live here 9 months out of the year. It's rainy and cold and dark, and as an adult, you kind of run out of excuses for living somewhere geographically incompatible with what you want and what you seek out of life. So, we decided to switch it up and actually look for housing in Arizona, the sunniest place we could possibly get.
We had to find something else to get us out of this darkness.
I'm like, how do we get out of here? So we took a road trip to Arizona, and from there we learned quite a few things. And one was we wanted to just keep going, basically.
Okay, so the second thing to happen was that my stepbrother and his girlfriend decided to take a 14-month-long backpacking trip around the world.
Ashley and Zoe.
And this completely blew our minds. I had never heard of anything like this before. I didn't know that quitting your job and traveling long term was even a thing. And as we started to do more research on this whole lifestyle, we started to realize just how big the community of world travelers, long-term travelers was.
It's a Pandora's box.
It's like a Pandora's box.
At that point.
We found example after example of people that were out there doing this thing, living this alternative lifestyle. It was almost as if somebody had thrown a bucket of ice water in our face.
That's a good analogy.
There are other options. So that opened up the world of possibilities, to say the least.
Yeah. With all of this information coming at us now, we had realized that we had never been anywhere.
Not to Mexico, not to Canada.
We live in Washington State. It's like Canada's like 2 hours away. It's ridiculous.
No passports.
We didn't have a passport. Yeah, we were in our 30s. We didn't have a passport at that point. So really, really highlighted the fact that we wanted to do things. Basically, there's so much of this world, and I want to see it. We want to see it. Go figure, on that Arizona trip, we were going down there for housing purposes, but then we realized that the idea of debt, even though a beautiful place, having a house down there, the idea of just being rooted kind of freaked us out.
Yeah.
We liked the road trip.
We liked the road without all the other stuff that comes with it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Exactly.
So
then you kind of realize, like, well, then what am I working for? What am I working towards? What am I doing all this for? If that's not what we want don't want the house, we don't have kids right now.
Then what are we working at jobs for full time?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
So it became pretty clear that traveling long term was something that we wanted to do, but we needed some sort of plan of attack, effectively.
You can't just dream it. You got to do it.
You got to do it. So we started by targeting my debt, my school debt. I had about $35,000 in school debt, maybe 30. I can't remember, honestly.
35.
Okay, 35, fair enough. So we decided that obviously was the first thing that had to go. So we started saving methodically.
Crazy.
We would save basically everything that I would bring home. Lynn would support us, and we just sock away that money until we had enough to completely clear all of our debts.
Right.
So that was kind of like the step one. And then after that, we decided to start selling all of our stuff, anything that we could get our hands on, even like old VHS tapes that really no one wanted. We would sell just basically anything that we could think would be worth any kind of money, and we'd stash that away.
Like the RoboCop, remember that?
Yeah, we sold RoboCop on VHS.
It was like $12.
Yeah,
So
$12.
Everything, it's a treasure. You're just swimming in other people's treasures.
Exactly.
You don't even know
it. So that was another thing that we had to do, and it just went like that for a couple of years. We decided that two years would be a good amount of time for us to get ready to not only get ready financially, but to also you have to rewire your brain, and you have to really align things differently in your mind and reprioritize things in your mind, and you have to get your mind, your mental state straight before you try to do something like this. At least I think you do. So it was a lot of these things that were just kind of swirling around for a couple of years while we were trying to make this dream a reality. Next thing we know, we're at the airport, ready to go and leave to our first international destination, which was Mexico.
Yep.
So in Mexico, we spent, I think, 2 months there.
We're in Mexico.
We're in Mexico. Oh, where?
Where?
Oh, Playa del Carmen, which is in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. But that was our first destination, and we stayed there for 2 months. That was when we first started filming. You could see our first video that we ever uploaded was from...
It's so cringy.
It's very cringy, but that was where we uploaded our first video. We were absolutely clueless, totally naive, but it was a lot of fun.
God, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun. But if you paid attention to this channel, then you kind of know what happened after that. I mean, we've documented everything since then.
Yep.
And so it was basically, that was it. The rest was history. Because We Camp was born, we were uploading videos, and it just kind of went from there.
Yep, 2.5 years.
Yep.
So why did we come back to the States after 2.5 years of travel and come back to Seattle specifically? Well, we showed you already. Our family's here, specifically in Tacoma, and we wanted to visit our family.
Yeah.
And kind of figure out our next move, honestly.
Yeah, we got to a point on the road where we were just a little bit tired. We were tired after being out there for so long. It starts you start to get fatigued.
Yeah.
And we also wanted to take the videography thing more seriously, but we were in a position on the road where it was very hard to make the proper investments in gear and whatnot that we wanted to make.
And stuff like that.
Exactly, without kind of coming home to reconfigure things.
So while we were home visiting family and figuring things out, you got a text message.
Actually, a Facebook message from my Facebook, come on, get your technology straight.
I know.
My old boss contacted me from my previous job that I left in 2012 or 13, and was interested to know if I wanted to come back and take a contracting position with basically the same team that I had left. And at that time, Lynn was very skeptical because here we are, we're in this risky, like, entrepreneurial mindset that you have to be in really to kind of be on the road long term. And we wanted to start maybe a videography business or something like that. But when I saw that opportunity come up, the first thing that I thought of was like, this is a way for us to get back out on the road again, because we're funding that entirely from our savings. We didn't have any other income while we were traveling.
Right.
And so this was a way for us to, recover financially and effectively do the same thing all over again, or at the very least put ourselves in a position where we could maybe try to make a sustainable life on the road.
So it was an offer we couldn't refuse.
It was an offer we couldn't refuse. So that brings us pretty much to present day. Right now, we've been back for almost 18 months exactly. I've been working as a software engineer at Disney in Seattle, And
I'm an administrator at geocaching.
Exactly.
Yeah, we both gained a lot of skills.
We did.
Over the last 18 months.
Yeah.
And really, really great connections, and we worked with really great people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are really, really awesome jobs, really awesome careers. But what's very interesting to me is how quickly you start to forget a lot of what happened on the road, which is why I'm so glad that we made all these videos. You start to forget what happened.
Yeah, surprisingly.
It's really surprising, and
you fall back into your old routines.
Exactly.
You get fat.
Whatever. But you really do. You start to forget a lot of things, and what scares me is you start to lose that edge. You know, like I said, to be out on the road long term, you kind of have to have an edge. You have you have to have this fearless attitude and kind of this entrepreneurial, like, hey, let's just get out there and see what happens attitude. And I started to lose that, and I think you did too, probably.
Yeah, and I think too, because we're getting a little bit older, it feels like a young kid's game is to go out and travel and do this thing, and we're going out again, which I'm really excited about, but at the same time I'm like, oh my god, what are we doing?
Yeah. That feeling never goes away.
No.
But, you know, I don't know what else to do. This is what fulfills me. Making videos is what I want to do.
This is what I meant.
It's what Lynn wants to do.
It's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're excited, though admittedly a little freaked out. And hopefully we'll have new adventures again. We will have new adventures, and we'll go back out and we'll do it again. But it's, as you can tell, it's been years in the making, and it's gotten to us to this point, basically. Yep. We got to be fearless all over again, and this is what we're meant for.
Yes. So hopefully this helps put a little context around how we came to be where we are, how our YouTube channel started, how we got out on the road, what process we followed. There's a few other videos and resources if you want to look into them that cover this a bit. We'll put them in the description, but I think that's about it.
That's our origin story.
Yep.
So what's yours?
What's yours?